For more analysis on this, we're now joined by security consultant Azaniah Mnisi, and he joins us via our video links for more on these plans being conducted in the Western Cape. Azaniah, thank you so much for joining us this evening here in SABC News. Let's start off here. Crime fighting efforts here being presented in the Western Cape government. What do you make of it?
Good evening, Bali, and good evening to the viewers. The Western Cape is a cause of concern, and their plan, if you carefully look at it, it is well-worded and prepared kind of a document. As whether it will work, it is a matter of commitment and implementation from both themselves as Western Cape and also the national government. You will remember that as they said, they only have the powers of oversight when it comes to policing, but the real powers rest with the national government. And over time, the government of Western Cape has been decrying that they want the total power to control what they call a devolution of power in terms of the issue of SAPS, wherein they want total control of all facets when it comes to policing in the province. The people of Western Cape are suffering these crimes because of politics. There is contestation of powers. Someone wants to show someone that I've got power in this or that. And I think the national government is not necessarily too much committed in order to assist the government of Western Cape to ensure that they fight this crime and fight it effectively and win. It is possible. We have seen that we do have the muscles as the nation to be able to tackle anything. During COVID, the president authorize, as per the constitution, is the only one who can authorize the South African National Defence Force and deploy it because of the powers that are vested upon him by the constitution. He has done that during COVID to fight an enemy that we couldn't see. And as I said, over time, the government of Western Cape, from the time of Helen Zille, they've been asking government to release or to deploy SANDF in all the high crime areas, the gang infested areas.
Yeah.
And government has not been forthcoming. I think the heavy-handedness that we saw during COVID is what we need to see on the gang states, because in the Cape, in the Western Cape, the gangs are ruling. They're in charge. And if you look at the stats, it's nothing to celebrate about. So we need the collaboration between government and this thing of glory, people fighting for glory or governments fighting for glory, it doesn't help. At the end of the day, the general citizens are the ones who are suffering because criminals, they've taken over the streets, they are ruling the Western Cape. For instance, if you check on the serious crimes between the reporting period of October to December 2022, about 80,646 cases of serious crimes were reported in the Western Cape.
Yeah, and also it brings me to this question, Azaniah. When you look at the statistics as well coming out from the Western Cape, or rather broadly from the country, that at least about 6 police stations in the Western Cape, of course, leading there when it comes to issues around murder. One would say that it's quite clear that they seem to be losing the battle here when it comes to crime. How concerning is this? You're dealing with 6 police stations all in one province.
it's very much concerning. Just to take it further, it's about 7. In fact, 7 of their police stations, they feature in the top 10 of these crimes, and also about 30 of their police stations in 11 of their police stations, they feature in the top 30 police stations that are reporting serious crimes. So with this, looking at it, we can see that we are losing it. The Western Cape contribute about 19.1% in the crime reported in the country, the number 2 after Gauteng, which total about 27%. So now we cannot be folding hands in this. Both the national government, the provincial government should then put the interest of the people first and leave these issues of fighting for power. It is reasonable for the Western Cape government to end up crying, asking for power, to say, give us all the power and control so that we can be able to manage this situation, because after everything, it is the people on the ground who are suffering.
Is deploying the police, or rather the SANDF, the only solution here? Especially, you touched on earlier, the issues around dealing with gangs in the Western Cape. And I mean, gangs on the Cape Flats, and one would say that really accounts for so much of the crime taking place in the Western Cape. Is deploying the SANDF the only solution right now to the problems affecting people in the Western Cape?
Bali, at this current moment, we are having problem of illegal mining in the country, and the president has deployed SANDF to go about tackling this issue of illegal mining, because these people who are engaging in illegal mining, they are highly armed and so on. So is it the only solution? No, it's not. It's one of those solutions that is needed on the ground. We need to suffocate the space. We need to close the space for these gangs to know that at any time they raise their heads, SANDF will be on the ground. Also, there are specialized units within SAPS. That's why I said that you then find a situation wherein the Western Cape government is crying for devolution of power, so that they can be able to have control over the specialized units that are there in the SAPS. But now we need SANDF on the streets, so that the gangs they can understand and know that the country is serious in fighting crime, because they are heavily armed. These people, they are not just mere gangs. They are heavily armed. They are having high caliber weapons at their disposal and all this kind of stuff. So we need to meet fire by fire in the Western Cape.
All right, Azaniah, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure talking to you here on the late edition. That is Azaniah Mnisi, security consultant, talking to us there about the plans for the Western Cape and really what is needed in terms of solving the solution when it comes to high crime levels in the province.